Good morning and welcome to Morning Moments. I'm so glad that you joined us today for a special guest. We have a actor, director, writer, a young man that has been in a film that uh, the director got some awards for it. And when I spoke to the director, we had the director on a few weeks ago in Morning Moments, uh, David Alfred, and he spoke so highly of Joseph Stam and says, you got to have Joseph on your show. And so I am so pleased to have Joseph Stam join us. Welcome, Joseph.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Alford is much too kind, but I'm glad he said something because I'm happy to be here.
Great. And you're in Virginia as well. I'm in Virginia Beach, and you're just up the road from us, not too far, a few hours, a couple hours maybe. And so welcome from the beautiful state of Virginia, or Commonwealth of Virginia, I should say.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Joseph, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do and why do you do it? And where'd you get this acting bug and things? What happened here?
Well, yeah, it all started when I was young, when I was like 8 years old. I've always done theater. Since then, I was in Peter Pan, and I got Peter Pan, and from there, I just kept going with it. Um, yeah, I always did theater, always loved it. I was always drawn there. Any creative outlet was really my thing. And then uh, through the theater, I really got to know Mr. Alford. And when he was making his first mini feature, he's asked me to audition for it, and I did. And I got into it, and then I've kind of been hooked on film. And the interesting thing about it was that I didn't really realize it was happening while it was happening. So I I did a film. Didn't really think it would like go anywhere from there. But I kind of got interested in it. I was always torn between sports and my creative side, basically my theater uh, film side. And I started running into trouble because I had 4 concussions in like 3, 4 years. Um, and I just kept getting, you know, concussions and kept getting different health issues. And that slowly pushed me towards film. And because I wouldn't have had these film opportunities that I've had if I was still pursuing basketball and I was still trying to do that through high school. I probably wouldn't have been able to make these movies or had the experience that I had. So I definitely see the good that God has brought from uh, even some frustrating things like concussions and different health issues and headaches. But it's all pushed me towards the thing that I love to do and the thing that I feel like I am serving God and I feel God's peace about and uh driven by him and led by him to do. So
As somebody who's been involved and been in the church all your life, it's amazing when God gives you opportunities where sometimes you least expect it. And now you've done acting, but you've also dabbled in some directing and writing as well. So kind of playing around with that aspect of it as well.
yeah, definitely. So after we did the first mini feature called Crash Purposes, I just got interested in it. I honestly don't even remember how I started writing. It just kind of happened. I wrote a screenplay with Mr. Alford, and I still like that one. That one we've never done anything with. I still like that one. And then we made another one together, which was Found. And so then when the time came to make it, he asked me if I wanted to be the lead in it. And so I did. And that was a really cool experience because I got to see the project from first draft to final cut, which is not something that most people get to experience and be involved all the way through. So that was a really cool experience. Started writing. And so then once I start writing, I'm like, well, there's a lot of writer directors. What's that all about? um, so I directed a short film and loved it. And so then I helped co-direct the feature that we just got done. Mr. Alford and I, he directed it as well. He wrote it and directed it, and I acted in it and co-directed it. So that's in post-production right now. But yeah, now I that's all been since 2019, and so it's just kind of been go go go, cranking out 3 movies, um, and now I'm just kind of sitting here like, oh, that all happened, and that was like God had a plan through all of that. That wasn't just me doing random things.
Yeah. And you were talking to me about how surprised you get sometimes with the impact of the films and your feedback and that you get from the films that you've done.
Yeah, it's just wild how God has used it. Like God has really used this way more than we ever thought he would, and he's used it in ways that we never thought he would. um so just the randomest experiences and hearing people from the Philippines, or you know they their professor assigned them to watch the movie for the class, like for college or something like that. And just the weird places that it gets, that it's like, it was there, what?
Yeah.
And then just hearing a lot of the impact that it's made. It's sometimes things that we weren't even thinking about when we were putting into the film. We definitely felt God's leading on it, and he was directing it the whole time. And at some point, if you just have to give it up as God's project and let him work with it the way he wants to work with it, because we definitely had things we were trying to communicate through the films. And but sometimes people would take away things that we weren't even thinking about when we made the
Yeah.
film. That was just all God working, him putting that in there. And uh yeah, so some of the things that people take away from it, and some of the people, whether you're a 40-year-old Christian or you're not a Christian at all, uh the way that it impacts people at various stages as well, and ages, that's not us. We can't really take credit for that anymore. That's beyond human.
Any of the work that we do, no matter what our calling is, when we give it up and say it's yours, Lord, and give it
Mhm.
to him, it is just amazing what God can do with it. I tell people the Holy Spirit and God can do more in just a few minutes than I could do in hours. So I'm just going to let him do it. And so often we try to make things happen, and God says, "No, don't try to make things happen. Just follow what I'm saying."
Yeah.
And it's those wonderful statements and things that happen in a film or a song or whatever that really can change somebody's life at that moment in time when they hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Because while we were making it, even in post production for all the films, there's always been a moment when Mr. Alford has told me, it's a really beautiful thing each time. And he's like, I'm trying to control this and I can't anymore. And it's like he'll tell me we just have to, and maybe I'm doing the same thing, I don't even realize it. He's like, we just have to let God walk through this and not try to control it. And there's just always comes a moment where we have to keep reminding ourselves, even while we're making it. And just some of the way that God used, some of the, just even so that we could make the films, because
Yeah.
films are hard to make. And
Yes.
found we were making, I mean, the fact that Cross Purpose has got any recognition is just crazy. It's just like
Yeah.
that happened with short films like that. And then found, even while we were making it, every time a problem came along, like God had a solution right there that was much better than our previous plan. Like we lost locations and things like that last minute. And we had one location set that we were supposed to film at, and it was the day before the shoot, and we lost the location. So saying that, okay, well, we got to have somewhere to shoot tomorrow.
Yeah.
And God got us a much better location
Yeah.
than we had before. Just things like that just kept happening.
My father, who was a pastor for ordained minister for 60 plus years, used to always say, God is unpredictable, but always dependable. I don't know how he's going to meet my needs, but I know he is. And it just it always turns out that when you give it to him.
That's a
Yep.
good quote.
Yep.
I like that.
Well, it has been a pleasure, Joseph, to get to know you. What I'm going to do is down below put the credits you've been on, and it seems like about everything you go into, you get nominated for something. It's just God's just blessed you tremendously on this films, and I'm just going to put these credits down here. But I want my audience to be praying for you. You're at just the beginning of this wonderful career, and I believe God's got great and wonderful things for you. There's people that maybe that's listening to this today will say, he's inspired me, or maybe I want to know more about him. There's so many people in the film industry that watches Morning Moments that there may be something that's happening just because of this. But I'm praying that God will continue to bless you. And I'm asking everybody that's listening to this to keep Joseph in prayer. Pray that he still, as a young man, keeps that humble spirit that he has, and he has just this beautiful, beautiful, sweet spirit about him. And I hope that you've captured that, or this interview has captured what I've seen in this conversation. And I'm just going to pray that God is going to continue to bless you, my brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on Morning Moments, and thank you for joining for Morning Moments. And please keep coming back.